Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. Today, bringing you another solo episode. It's a big solo one, this one. I even got notes prepared. I usually just do these off the cuff, as you know, with the guests that I've had on over the journey, even some of the solo ones that I've had. It's very, very rare that I come prepared with notes. So if you're watching on YouTube and I'm looking away from the camera, I'm just checking my notes out because there's a lot to talk about today. And I'd like to thank you all for listening and watching wherever in the world you are. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, all my subscribers, for subscribing to the channel, subscribing to the show, rating me 5 stars, suggesting I have awesome guests on. It's been an awesome ride, this podcast, and I thank you all for tuning in. It's been each week for a long time, but in the last month or so, it's been every second week. So I thank you guys for all tuning in and supporting my work and my mission. So let's get into it today. Focusing on the young men of the generation, you'll notice that my content on social media has gone down the path of the younger men of today. I feel like that's definitely a avenue, a generation that I would like to help shift, move, evolve, and grow. Because our young men of today are doing all the things that I used to do, as you all know, and it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. Seeing some of these young men out there today that just need someone to put their arm around them and say that everything's going to be okay, and that there's something better on the other side of their pain and whatever else that they're feeling. Which brings me to right now. We're going to talk about the three most common forms of self-sabotage amongst the young men of today. I'm also going to personalize it because these three things is what I used to do as an Olympic sport. I was the king of this stuff, and I will just give a general overview of what these are, and then I'll tie them to myself and the boys out there today, and how they can move through these three most common forms. And we'll see what else comes up in this chat too, and wherever else we may go, we will go. So hold on to your hats. Let's go. Righto. Number one. This isn't in any particular order either. I've just written this down and just thought, right, this is what we're going to talk about. So this is in no particular order. Number one, overworking and always grinding. Now, out there in society, our men are given the times we're in with hyperinflation, given the times we're in where since the pre-C word stuff, cost of living, all these things, men are being required to work more, grind more, so they can live, get by, provide for their families, and all these things. That's that's been orchestrated by design. There is a saying out there: "Work smarter, not harder." There are other ways to earn money online, with income streams, investing. There's so many ways we can earn money online. We don't have to just rely on the job as our sole source of income. It's about expanding our consciousness and expanding our minds and our capabilities and our skill set, that we can do more, we can be more, but we can do all of this but work less. I feel like there's a generational program or psychological conditioning behind that we must work more or have a quote unquote work ethic to a point where we overwork ourselves. We're pouring from that empty cup, and we can't give anything to others because we're depleted. We're working too much, and when we have our downtime, we're not putting that back into ourselves or our families. It's this big thing, and I feel like a lot of young men out there today, especially in the in the times that we're in, is that we're doing a lot of that overworking and grinding, where we can look into network marketing, we can look into investing and look into other forms of income, so that our job isn't our primary force. We can relieve that pressure and that stress that we put on ourselves, and we can, as I said, expand our mind and expand our consciousness, and understand and learn some new skills here, that we can do more, we'll do less for more. And given the times we're in as well, like there's no greater time than right now than to make something like that happen. I know for me, starting my business and starting my podcast and all these things that I've done, written my book and that has helped me develop that extra source of income so that my job wasn't my main focus and that I wasn't relying on that income as much, knowing that I had some backup options there. I know for me, I jumped in the investing thing a few years ago. I haven't really said this publicly, but I did invest in some gold and silver in the last 5 years, and those investments paid off because gold and silver is something we've always needed, like we've always had. It's always been an asset that doesn't matter what currency we have, whether it falls, whether it collapses, doesn't matter if a society collapses or whatever. And I feel like well, this might be a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I think we're very close to a collapse. And this is why I'm saying this is that you can invest in the gold and silver, and it doesn't matter if a currency or a society collapses, because gold and silver will hold your wealth, and it'll be something you can exchange for when they bring in they bring in their new currency. Gold and silver's always been something that has stood the test of time. And if you haven't got gold and silver, I bought it 4 years ago, sold it, and then reinvested it. It's only gone up in the last 6 months. So if you listen to Mike Maloney and some financial people out there that aren't on your mainstream media, you'll see that gold and silver is definitely something worth considering and definitely worth investing in if you have the savings or the capital there to move money over and invest in the gold and silver, because in the next 5 6 years it's going to triple quadruple. And that hasn't come from me. That's come from the people that I listen to on a daily basis about this stuff. And you can easily jump online and have a look. I know that my investments in the last 2 years have only gone up since I've invested it. So if I was to take my gold and silver and sell it, I'll give it back to where I got it from, sell it, I would be making a very, very, very good profit on that investment. So it's definitely worth something to consider, and consider your options on that. Speaking about the three common forms of self-sabotage, financials there. So if you got the capital and the savings there, definitely looking at gold and silver. Check out Mike Maloney. Read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and start that investing journey, man, out there. That's going to help you with the overwork, always grinding. So there's the solution there. Enjoy that one. Let's move on to number two. Hey, number two, numbing with all the sedative chemicals out there in society today. Now, if you see my walk and talks and my content, you'll see that I talk about these sedative chemicals a lot. So we might as well just list them. We know that they're the weed, the alcohol, the naughty content, scrolling, alcohol, junk food, negative thoughts. What these are, men, anyone out there listening, even women too. This is your nervous system seeking safety, and when your nervous system is unsafe, your unconscious mind sort of moves ahead of the conscious mind. So sometimes you aren't actually conscious of the things you're doing. This is why you'll find yourself at the bottom of the bottle going, why did I just do that? Why did I just drink that? Why did this happen? It's because this part of the mind has taken over. Your nervous system's unsafe, it's unfamiliar, it's uncomfortable. This is where you end up doing those things you know you shouldn't do, but you do them anyway. And that is a nervous system response to you feeling a certain way. And when the unconscious takes over, it goes back to the most repetitive programming or the most repetitive thing that you've seen. And it's back to when you're a child. So, for example, if you saw mum and dad come home from work, excuse me again, after a stressful day, stressful week, stressful month, whatever, and they numb with the alcohol or the weed or the junk food, or they say, "Oh, I'm stressed, so I'm allowed to have this today." You download that as a safe card to play. You download that in your subconscious mind, and you'll go and you'll act that out. So you'll resort back to that when you're feeling that exact same way. So if you're having a stressful day, stressful week, stressful month, you will go and pick up the bottle, pick up the junk food because you saw mum and dad do it when you were younger. You might have seen their friends of friends. It's all on the TV. We see it all the time. The woman breaks up with the man. She's got the glass of wine and the book and the tears. This is repetitive programming, and you will resort back to that. So when you're feeling a certain way, you'll pick up that bottle, you'll numb, and you'll do those things instead of facing that pain, facing why it was a hard week, and asking yourself those inner questions. The conscious mind takes a backward step. Subconscious comes through and says, "Right, I've got you. We'll go pick up that bottle, and we'll numb our pain." So as a solution is asking yourself those questions. How am I feeling today? Start journaling, start writing, start getting your thoughts out on paper, start speaking, talking to yourself, talking to ChatGPT, all these things out there that can help you to start to process those feelings. Reach out to a coach, reach out to me, listen to this podcast. Goodness me, there's a lot of episodes in the back catalogue here that can help you start that journey in unpacking and moving forward from those habits so that you can not numb your pain, but you can face that pain in a healthy way. And the best way for me when I faced my pain, which it comes in every now and then, is just sitting with myself and just ask myself those questions. Why is this here? How am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? Where's it come from? What can I do in the moment? And I have that inner dialogue, and then I invite that pain in. I say, right, what are you here to teach me? What are you here to show me? And quite often I'll get a vision of a little child there that had something happen to him, and I'll go and reparent that child and say, I'm here for you. I love you. I accept you. I acknowledge you. All those things that in the child work super duper important. So there's so many tools and things that we can do that allows us to face that pain, feel those emotions in a healthy way, rather than jumping on the porn and jumping on the alcohol and jumping under someone. Like, there's so many healthy ways that we can feel our pain and feel our emotions. It's just having the patience and the resilience and the discipline, but also the courage to actually face those fears and face the pain. The pain teacher is a beautiful teacher, and it's something that we all should face, because there's growth at the end of that. Number three, this was my biggest one, and I feel like this is a lot of young men's biggest one too. And I'm just gonna refer to my notes here. Chasing women or validation, trying to feel worthy externally because you haven't built it internally. Let that one sink in. I know for me, from probably 18 to 26 was all about that. Women were my validation. And if I was out on a night out, I said this to someone during the week actually, they'll watch this. So I was talking to someone during the week about this very thing. And I had this ponder and this epiphany, this sort of light bulb moment that when I'd go out on a weekend when I was younger, and if I didn't get a woman for the night, it would it would sometimes ruin my night. I'd feel useless, I'd feel like a failure, I'd feel like I have all these feelings come up, definitely rejection too. And it was the validation. I wasn't seeking anything other than validation that someone was going to take me home, or I'm going to take them home. And I was seeking validation in that because I couldn't give it to myself. I didn't know how. So I was running on all these unconscious programs that a lot of our young men run on today. And I said this out loud. I said, I was chasing women for validation, to uphold my reputation out there in society back in my old hometown. And it was that brutal smack in the face of, like, I could give that to myself. I don't need a woman for validation. It's gone from, in the last 4 years, it's gone from a validation of chasing. I used to always enjoy the hunt and the chase, but then once I got what I wanted, I was done. It's gone from the validation to intention. It's gone from, what do I want out of this now? And what are my intentions behind seeing this person go on this date? Da, da, da. What are my intentions? What am I here? What's my end goal? Rather than I have a closed heart. I have mummy issues. I had an ex-girlfriend, broke my heart, all of those things. It was not so much the validation, but it was the validation, but under the validation was just a broken-hearted boy that didn't want to open his heart back up and would push that self-destruct button every single time. So I feel like a lot of young men are like this now because I was the same. We would chase the women for validation to make us feel good. We can make ourselves feel good. We don't have to use women for that validation. We can give that to ourselves. We can date with intention. We can have an end goal, a purpose, and a reason for why we're doing the things we're doing. And that was the thing that I started to adapt in the last 6 months was like, I'm here back in the dating space. I'm here with intention. I'm here with an open heart. I don't need anything from anyone, but it would be nice to journey with someone and go on that journey of self-discovery together rather than one of us running away, pushing a button, that self-destruct button, and numbing out. So that's been my biggest thing in the last 6 months is dating with intention and not feeling like I'm being used or they're being used. It's a beautiful connection and it can grow organically if it's supposed to, or it cannot. And that's been the most beautiful thing. There's been some beautiful connections I've made in the last 6 months. Some of them have lasted, some of them haven't. Some of them are friendships now, some of them aren't, some of them whatever. I've allowed that process to take care of itself rather than me pushing a button and doing the things that I used to do. It's been a beautiful journey. So if you're out there chasing women for validation, it's asking yourself why. Again, that inner dialogue and asking yourself those hard questions. Journaling, going back to your first relationship, going back to your relationship with your mother. These are all solutions. These are all things that you can start to process in your life and start to connect those dots because it's a beautiful thing once you have those dots connected. So it's just asking yourself, why are you using a woman for validation? Why are you sleeping around? Why are you treating women this way? Are you worthy of having a woman in your life if you have a nice one come in where you're pushing the button that I was? It's asking those questions. And I'm always here for you too. Brothers, it's not about discipline. This isn't even about discipline. It's about what your nervous system believes is safe. Chasing women for validation is a safe card that a lot of young men are playing today. It's giving that nervous system a reset from these three things and just sitting with yourself and start to do that inner work because once you start doing that inner work, friendships and habits and towns and different things will fall away, and that's the beautiful part of this journey is coming back to yourself and giving yourself all that you need. Your parents did the best they could with what they had, but only you can go back now and give that little child what it needs. Only you can go back now and give yourself that validation. Only you can go back now and deal with that pain, that discomfort, and be courageous and bold enough and vulnerable enough to go back and deal with it. Only you can put in those investment opportunities. Only you make those choices. And I quite often say in my podcasts and in blogs and different things, I say it's always you v you. So if there's a number four, I know this is three, but there's a fourth. It's blaming everyone else but yourself. It's the external blame. A lot of people in the awakened community will blame the government, they'll blame the news, they'll blame the TV, they'll blame everyone for the problems in the world except for themselves. Now, the most brutal and honest truth that I'll give you right now as a truth bomb as I look down this camera right here and I'll say it is look in the mirror. You are the problem. It's not anyone else. It's not your parents. It's not your brother, your sister, your grandmother, your grandfather. It's not Bill Gates. It's not Colonel Sanders. It's not George Bush. It's not George Bush Senior. It's not who's our Prime Minister of Australia? What's his name? What's his name? It's coming to me. Anthony Albanese Albo. It's not that Dutton guy. It's not ScoMo. It's not Dan Andrews. It's not Jacinta Allen. It's not Trudeau or that Carney. I think it's Carney now that's in there in Canada. It's not Boris Johnson or whoever the Muppet they have in England now. It's not the royal family. It's not the celebrities. It's not the elite. It's not the secret societies. It's not the cults. It's not the Freemasons. It's you. See how we project all of our blame onto someone else or something else. And if I can tie this back to men, we blame our woman, we blame our mum, we blame our sisters, we blame our job, we blame our boss, we blame all these external people, things. When if we just look in the mirror like I'm looking in the camera right now and seeing my reflection, it's you versus you. You're in battle with yourself. You're you're going up against all your demons, all your programming. You're going up against all the things that you've tucked away inside. That's no one else's fault but your own. Because when I say this to clients, it is a truth bomb. But you allowed all the things to happen in your life. You allowed them to happen. So only you can go back and forgive yourself for allowing all of those things to happen. So I'll say it again. It's you versus you. And you can blame everything and everyone. But at the end of the day, look in the mirror, brother, sister. It's you. Not anyone else, not anything else, but you. And from here, they're the four most common forms of self-sabotage. And the only way out is through. You can't leave it all in a box. You have to walk over that box at some point and deal with this shit. And the most beautiful thing you can do is reach out to me, reach out to a coach that can help you through this. And I'm not saying this to pump up my tires, but I can help you through these things because I've been there. I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge you. I also, most importantly, I love you. I don't know who needs to hear that right now. But arm in arm, step by step, dot by dot, we will rebuild you into the king, into the queen that you are destined to become. And I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to working with you. You can book in a free Zoom consult and we can get started on your journey. Thank you all for listening and watching this solo episode of it's gone from 3 to 4, the four most common forms of self-sabotage. So I hope you all got something out of this today. You all enjoy the rest of your day. By the time this goes up, it'll be the weekend. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will chat to you all soon. I've got some really awesome guests coming up, actually. I'm recording a podcast next week with a woman from England who's gone through the ringer in terms of abuse and sexual abuse. And yeah, really going to be a really awesome chat. So that's my next episode. So stay tuned for that. Have an awesome day or an awesome night wherever in the world you are. And I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.